So I am the VP of Global Sales and EMEA for Adepto. My background's very much in the recruitment space, so once upon a time I was a 360 recruiter, so one of those people picking up the phone, picking up jobs, sending CVs, filling those jobs with candidates. I then moved into the RPO and MSP world, but predominantly focused on RPO, so large-scale recruitment process outsourcing, project RPO across Europe, so multi-countries, and designing the solutions that were best fit for those countries across Europe. Then I moved into the tech space, so I spent a couple of years at SAP Fieldglass, which is the time I actually met Chris, our CEO, a few months back, so that's my background. So the world is having an increasing need to be flexible with its workforce. So what we're seeing now in the world of work, and global Fortune 500 companies, for instance, are falling off that 500 list at a rate that we've never seen before. And those companies that are falling off that list are the companies that aren't agile. They're not adopting a flexible workforce strategy. But those that are staying on that list are a little bit more forward thinking. So thinking, what do I need to do from a talent perspective? What are the skills that are available to me? Is it the people that are working for me? Is it the people that are contractors that are going to come and work for me and fill projects for 6 months at a time? So we need to be very aware of the fact, or of the need for companies to be flexible and embrace all types of talent across the workforce. So we've just spoken of the need for companies to be more agile. And a lot of the time there's people systems that apply to different pockets of the workforce. So for instance, where I've just come from, SAP Fieldglass, as a system, as a people system, it caters for contractors. But then there'd be HCMs, like a Workday and a SuccessFactors, for instance, that will cater for the existing workforce. There's many other systems out there, but actually there's not one system in place that can cater for everyone. So for hiring managers that need to get work done and be flexible to improve the bottom line of their businesses, they're having to log into all of these different systems at all these different times to get the right people with the right skills in the right place doing the right work. So the way I see it evolving is very much, in a sense, from a technology perspective, being able to enable these businesses to become a lot more flexible and get that work done quickly and make it easier for the executives that are using those systems. Why did I decide to join Adepto? It's a really good question, actually. So I remember it was at the start of 2019. I actually met Chris Milligan, our CEO at the time, and I'd always been thinking in the back of my head, right, what do I want to do with my career? You know, what are the ultimate goals that I want to achieve? And in my time working in the RPO space for companies like Manpower Group, and then moving to the contingent workforce space with SAP Fieldglass, I started seeing the need and a requirement for businesses to have that ability to have some technology in place that caters for that entire workforce. So having something that they can log into and see all of the skills they have available to them at any one time. And a little bit of a funny story, when I first met Chris, I had this in mind. I thought, you know, one day I need to build a product that could do this. You know, there's a real gap in the market. And then I met Chris from Adepto and started talking about Adepto, and suddenly realised that Chris had kind of got there before me. So I thought, okay, this guy's clearly on my same wavelength of thinking. We should join forces and really kind of get out there and hopefully change the way the world is working. One of my overarching visions for this region is to help define what total talent actually means. So it's been a buzzword in the industry for kind of 4, 5, maybe even 6 years now, but no one's really defined it. And also, if you look from a technology standpoint, there's so many tech companies that would broadly be fit into a digital staffing provider category. And it's probably fair to say that Adepto fits in that category right now, but we feel that that's a little bit of an injustice because that's not who we're about. We're a differentiator, we're looking to disrupt the market. We're actually looking to create our own category, so the total talent technology category. So my vision for this market is to completely define that category, own that category, dominate that category. Yeah, so it's one of our core, or one of our 5 core values, and actually it's that one that is number 1 on everyone's lips all the time. So it's very much a case of whenever we make any decisions across the company, it's always, well, how does that benefit the customer? What is the customer going to achieve from that? So whether it's from me, from a kind of a frontline sales pursuit across EMEA, things that I'm talking to the customer about, it's always customer first. What are your challenges? What are your objectives? We're not trying to put a product in front of these customers and say, we think this is a good fit. Actually, it's very much the other way round. It's what are your challenges? And what we can help to do is mould a product, because we're still a young business, to help you solve those challenges across the market. So that's just a case from a sales perspective. From a product perspective, when we really start to look to build more features, new features, we tend to ask our customers first. We tend to ask them, are the products that are in the system right now, are they helping you to achieve your goals? If they are, great. If they're not, then why not? Let's create a strategy around making sure we can solve your challenges in a better way. Right the way through to the engineering function, quite often we think of IT developers kind of behind the scenes. That's not quite the case here at Adepto. Everything that they do, everything that they produce kind of under the bonnet of a car, is really important for driving, no pun intended, that I've just said bonnet. It's really important for them to understand that what they're creating under that bonnet has a direct impact on the customer. And more importantly, actually, a lot of the time, if we strip Adepto back to its bare bones, we're talking about placing people into jobs. And when we talk about placing people into jobs, I've got a new job a few months ago, right? It's a life-changing time. So often what we need to make sure is that, and this is what the engineering team are really good at, is the features that they are building can essentially really change someone's life. So that's how we adopt a customer-centric approach. It's a good question. So I've heard the Australians really enjoy going to work because they've got a handball court, but unfortunately we haven't got that in the UK. But really for me, I talk about this from almost a selfish perspective and a personal perspective. For me, what I find really great to come work here is that we've got the ability to really change something. We've got the opportunity to define this new market, this total talent category. And because of the way that we operate, the product team, the engineering team, marketing team, customer team, everyone across the business has this ability and this opportunity in front of them to really define something and create something. So because we're still relatively small compared to big corporate giants, everyone's got the opportunity to use their initiative, be entrepreneurial and really change the game.